Hades rolled his eyes, his arms still folded, and a defiant scowl on his face. So you wanted a family reunion? Why drag us into it? Ares' entire countenance turned icy as he directed his attention to Hades. To his credit, Hades didn't shrink away the way most would have in his position. Then again, maybe that was idiocy rather than bravery. Always 50-50 with him. You are her consorts, are you not? Ares asked. For a few seconds, none of them said a word. Loki was usually the first to laugh, but Hades beat him to it. Then again, Loki still looked like he was tempted to bolt for the door and hope for the best. Consorts? Hades echoed. Is that some kind of joke? The blank look on Ares' face made it clear it wasn't. Hades is the only one of us who's gotten past first base, Loki remarked. I'm afraid you're mistaken. Irritation flashed in Ares' eyes, and I couldn't be sure if it was because of the mention of me fooling around with Hades or the young god speaking out of turn. Maybe both. Being a consort has nothing to do with that. It's destiny. Whatever it is, you've got it wrong, I interjected. We're just classmates, and I'm bound to Hades, but it's more the other way around. Bound? Ares raised an eyebrow. I saved her life, Hades answered before I had the chance. The scolding glare he shot me made it clear he was still touchy about the whole necromancy thing. Ares watched him through narrow eyes, and even Hades seemed wary under the intensity of that gaze. There is a magical link between you, he said, looking between the two of us. I could see the wheels turning, and wasn't sure I liked where this was going. Hell, I didn't like where we already were, but I doubted Ares was going to snitch on such menial drama. He had bigger issues to contend with, like the fact that he and his army were stuck in nowhere land. His eyes widened, and something about the shock in them worried me more than his anger had. He brought you back. What? I choked out in a less than convincing voice. I don't... Death, Ares remarked, reaching out to brush his fingers across my cheeks. His touch was light but cold, sending a chill deep into my veins. It clings to you. I stepped back instinctively and looked over at Hades. The confusion on his face told me he was out of ideas and excuses too. You did this? Ares asked, turning back to my unwanted fiancé. Hades didn't answer for a moment, but he finally overcame his hesitation and said, Yes. I see, Ares murmured, studying him closely. I couldn't read his expression, but I think I was nervous for Hades, and that wasn't a position I liked being in. Hell, when it came to Hades, the positions I did like were far more of a concern. That's quite remarkable for one so young. Tell me, he said, turning back to me. Who hurt you? I was reluctant to answer, but refusing seemed like a bad idea. A siren, I admitted. A siren? He raised an eyebrow, and his voice took on a different tone. Disappointment. I'd heard it in my mom's often enough, but coming from him, it just pissed me off. She got in a cheap shot, okay? I grumbled. The point is, whatever you're sensing, it's probably just that. Hades isn't my consort, and the other two sure aren't. Fenrir made a discontented growling sound, reassuring me that his human side was at least somewhat present. You're mistaken, said Ares.